So we're going to get started lying on our back. Arms come out to the side, palms face towards the sky. Maybe the legs splay open on either side of the mat. Just arriving in our practice, connecting to our breath. Inhales and exhales through the nose. Allowing your head, shoulders, and body to just fully relax in this space. Knowing that you're exactly where you are supposed to be, that you are safe, and that you are loved, and that you are in a space of healing. Just connecting to your breath. Take an inhale through the nose. Exhale. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And just staying with your breath. I want your focus today to be being present in this moment. Not letting your mind take you anywhere else but right here, right now. Being fully present in your body. Go ahead and take another inhale through the nose. Maybe take an extra sip of air in at the top. And just slowly exhale. Inhale through the nose. Taking in an extra sip of air at the top. And just slowly exhaling it out. Knowing that you have arrived in your practice. And dedicating this next hour to look internally and just connecting your breath to your body. Anytime your mind starts to wander off, always coming back to your breath for that grounding focus. Slowly start to wiggle the fingers and the toes around, bringing awareness back into your body. Maybe moving the hands and the feet around. And then slowly hugging the knees into the chest. Maybe rocking gently from left to right, right to left. Go ahead and open up the eyes, and we're going to rock forward to the top of our mat into a seated position. Bringing the hands to the mat, we're going to come into a tabletop position. So hands are directly under the shoulders, knees are under the hips, and the fingers are spread wide so that all the weight is evenly dispersed. We're going to do a few cat-cows. So we're going to sink the belly, gaze looks forward, cow. Exhale, round the back, gaze looks towards the belly button, cat. Sink the belly, inhale, cow. Exhale, curl. Around the back, gaze looks towards the belly button. And doing this a few times at your own pace, your own breath. Finding whatever motion feels good in the spine. Maybe making Some circles at the hips, or rocking those hips back and forth, left to right, making an S shape with your spine. And coming to a neutral spine, we're going to extend the right leg out towards the back of the room. Belly is tight. Those toes are flexed going towards the earth. Right hand is going to stay firmly planted as we start to lift those left fingertips towards the front of the room. Thumb towards the ceiling like we're shaking hands. We're going to stay here for 3, 2, go ahead and release. Bring the hand and knee down to the mat. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, left leg goes towards the back of the room. Keeping that core engaged. Left hand stays down on the mat, right fingertips come towards the front of the room, extending the arm. Staying here for 3, 2, go ahead and release. Hand and knee down to the mat. One more time. We're going to extend the right leg towards the back of the room. Left fingertips come towards the front of the room, fingers spread wide. This time we're going to bring the left elbow to meet the right knee. So we're going to crunch in and hold it for 3, 2, 1. Extend back out. One more time, we're going to bring the left elbow to meet the right knee. Hold it for 3, 2, go ahead and extend back out. And then gently releasing hand and knee to the mat. Switching sides. Extending that left leg towards the back of the room. Toes are flexed towards the earth. Right hand goes towards the front of the room. Extending that arm. We're going to crunch that right elbow into the left knee. Hold it for 3, 2, extend back out. One more time, bringing that right elbow to the left knee. Hold it for 3, 2, extend back out. And gently releasing the hand and knee back to the mat. So keeping the hands on the mat, we're going to curl the toes under and lift the knees 2 to 3 inches off the mat. Belly is tight. Gaze is 2 to 3 inches in front of your fingers to protect your neck. And we're going to hold this for 7, 6, 5, 4. Breathe for 3, for 2, and go ahead and straighten the legs, hips up, downward facing dog. So connecting with your breath here, we're going to take an inhale through the nose and sigh it out the mouth. One more inhale through the nose and just sigh it out the mouth. Sealing the lips, we're going to walk our dog here. So bending that left knee, pushing the right foot firmly into the ground, feeling the stretch on the back of that right leg. Switching sides, bending that right knee, pushing the left leg firmly into the earth, feeling the stretch on the back of that left calf, that left hamstring. Inhale, switching sides. Exhale, switch again. Inhale, switching one more time. Exhale, switching last time. Allowing both feet to become flat. We're going to inhale, rise up on the toes. Exhale, heels fall to the mat. Inhale, rise up on the toes. Exhale, heels fall to the mat. Last time, rise up on the toes. And as you exhale, bend the knees, look at your thumbs, walk your feet to your hands. And staying in a forward fold, we're going to walk our feet about hip distance apart. Hands grab opposite elbows, and we're just going to stay here and slowly sway left to right, right to left. Head, neck, and shoulders hang heavy. Staying with your breath. Maybe staying on one side a little longer if that feels good for you. Sending your breath to release any tension. And coming back to center, allowing the hands to come down to the mat. We're going to inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Walking the feet back underneath the hips. We're going to bend the knees and rise all the way up, arms up. Taking a slight back bend, pushing the hips forward. And then exhale, hands through heart center, folding all the way down to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're going to bend the knees, step back into a high plank, high push-up position. So the feet are hip distance apart, hands are shoulder distance apart. Those fingers are spread wide. Our core is engaged, and our sight is about 2 to 3 inches in front of those fingertips. We're going to stay here for 5. Breathe for 4, for 3, 2. Go ahead and shift forward on the toes. Come down into a low plank, bending the elbows. Tuck the toes. Inhale, upward facing dog. Gaze is forward. Those shoulders are relaxed. Back and shoulders are engaged. Maybe those 2 big toes touch, thighs float. And curling the toes under, lifting the hips, exhaling into downward facing dog. Stay for an inhale and exhale. One more inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knees, look at your hands, walk or float your feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, rise all the way up, arms up. And this time, we're going to use our right hand to grab the left wrist. Bending over towards the right hand side, arms go to the right, that gaze goes underneath that left arm. Trying to keep our arms straight, really feeling the stretch all the way down that left side body, creating space in between the ribs. Stay for an inhale, and as you exhale, come back to center. Switching sides, left hand grabs the right wrist. We're going to lean over to the left. Gaze looks under that right arm. Feeling all the space between those right ribs. We're going to stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, come back to center. Inhale, reach back, slight back bend. Exhale, hands go through heart center, fold forward, hands to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step back into a high plank, high push-up position. Exhale, shift forward, bend the elbows, low plank. Tuck the toes under, inhale, upward facing dog. Curl the toes, lift the hips, exhale, downward facing dog. Stay for an inhale and exhale. One more inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knees, look at the hands, walk or float your feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, rise all the way up, arms up. And fold forward, hands through heart center to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step back, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring the two big toes to touch. We're going to take our right leg up in the air. Go ahead and take the leg higher, bend the knee, and open up that hip. Gaze is under that left arm, looking to see if you can see any part of those toes that are flexed to protect the knee. We're going to bring knee to chest. Hold this for 3, 2, go ahead and step the foot through to the hands, keeping that back heel lifted. We're going to come up on the fingertips, suck the belly in, arms up, crescent lunge. Stay for an inhale, and as you exhale, bend the elbows, bringing them towards the ribs, cactusing out our arms, opening up our heart. We're going to stay here for about 4 breaths. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to either side of the foot, stepping back, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 big toes touch, left leg goes up. Take the leg higher, bend the knee, open up the hip. Our gaze is going to go through the right side this time, seeing if we can see any part of those left toes that are bent to protect our knee. Bring that knee to chest. We're going to hold this for 3, 2, go ahead and step the foot through to the hands, arms up, crescent lunge. So that back foot is lifted, making sure that that knee is going towards the pinky toe, not towards the big toe. Squaring our hips, making sure that that right hip is not going back further than the left. Our core is engaged here. Bending the elbows, bringing them towards the ribs, opening up the heart. Staying with our breath, inhales and exhales through the nose. If you need to release any heat, you can open up your mouth. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to either side of the foot, stepping back, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knees, look at your hands, walk or float your feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees deep. We're going to come into chair pose. So arms are up next to the ears, fingers spread wide. Look down to see if you can see any part of those toes. If not, maybe sit the hips back closer to the ground. We're going to stay here for 5. Breathe for 4, for 3, 2. Straighten the legs, arms up, and fold forward. Hands through heart center down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Stepping back, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 big toes touch. Right leg goes up. Take the leg higher. Bend the knee, open up that hip. Step the foot through to the hands, keeping that back heel lifted. arms up, crescent lunge. This time we're going to take the arms behind the back, interlacing those fingers. Puff out the chest. We're going to inhale, take a slight back bend. And as you exhale, fold forward, hands go towards the ceiling. Chest can stay on top of that right thigh, or maybe that right shoulder is on the inside of that right knee. Gaze is going towards those left toes. And your arms are lifted up away from the back. Stay for an inhale. And as you exhale with control, coming back up to a crescent lunge, releasing those hands. And exhale, cartwheeling the hands down to either side of the mat. Stepping back, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Two big toes touch. Left leg goes up. Take the leg higher, bend the knee, open up the hip. Step the foot through to the hands. Arms up, crescent lunge. Bringing the hands behind the back, interlacing the fingers. We're going to puff out our chest. Inhale, take a slight back bend. And as you exhale, fold forward. Hands go towards the ceiling. Head goes towards the mat. Again, maybe that chest rests on the left thigh. Maybe that left shoulder goes on the inside of the knee. And the gaze is now at those right toes. We're going to stay for an inhale. And as you exhale with control, coming back up, arms up, crescent lunge. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to either side of the foot. Stepping back, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knees, look at the hands. Walk or float your feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees deep. Take chair pose. Arms are up next to the ears, fingers spread wide. If this is too much, you can always bring your hands to heart center. We're going to stay here for 7. Maybe lift the toes off the mat for 6. Stay with the breath for 5. Maybe sit a little bit lower for 4. For 3, 2, lower the toes down, straighten the legs, arms up, and exhale, fold forward, hands to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, stepping back, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Two big toes touch. Right leg goes up. Take the leg higher. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Go ahead and step the foot through to the hands, keeping that back heel lifted. Arms up, crescent lunge. So this time we're going to bring our hands to heart center. And leaning slightly over that right thigh, we're going to twist to the right. Left elbow hooks outside of the right knee. And this is a great place to stay, or if you want to take this a little further, you can open up the arms, right hand towards the ceiling, left hand towards the mat, and just staying with your breath. Core is engaged. That left back foot is engaged. Staying for an inhale. And as you exhale, hands come back to center. You come back to center. Arms up. Inhale, slight back bend. And as you exhale, cartwheeling the hands down to the mat, stepping back, high to a low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Two big toes touch, left leg goes up. Take the leg higher, bend the knee, open up that hip. Step the foot through to the hands. Arms up, crescent lunge. Bringing the hands to heart center. We're twisting to the left this time, so right elbow outside of that left knee. And this is a great place to stay, or if you want to take it further, you can open up your arms, left hand towards the ceiling, right hand towards the mat. Staying with the breath, feeling your body talk to you. Staying for an inhale, and as you exhale, hands come back to center. You come back to center, arms up. Inhale, slight back bend, and exhale, cartwheel the hands down to either side of the foot, stepping back, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knees, look at your hands, walk or float your feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees deep, take chair pose. This time, maybe challenge yourself to see if you can get a little bit lower. Maybe lift those heels off the ground. Your legs might start to shake. That's okay. Knowing you can always bring your hands to heart center if needed. Staying with the breath. We're going to be here for 3, 2. Go ahead and lower the feet, straighten the legs, arms up, and fold forward, hands to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Stepping back, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Two big toes touch, right leg goes up. Step the foot through to the hands. Rotate the back heel down at a 45-degree angle. Arms up, warrior one. So those hips are facing forward. That right knee is going towards the pinky toe, and those left toes are pointed towards the top left corner of your mat. Stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to open up to the left side, warrior two. Turn the palms towards the ceiling. Inhale, reverse warrior. Right arm goes up, left hand slides down that back leg, or maybe takes a half bind. Inhaling, come back to warrior two. Exhale, side angle. So that right elbow is coming to the right knee, left fingertips towards the ceiling. And you can stay here or maybe drop those right fingertips down towards the mat on the inside or outside of that foot. Just staying with your breath. Lower body is going to stay low. We're going to inhale, rise up, warrior two. Flip the palms, exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, back to warrior two. And staying here, we're going to straighten that front knee so it's straight but not locked. We're going to shift forward with the body, fingertips going towards the front of the room, coming into triangle. Right fingertips down towards the mat, left hand goes up as we look up and twist. So those left ribs are going towards the sky. Gaze is towards those left fingertips. And just stay here and breathe. Putting a bend in that front knee. We're going to come back into warrior two, reverse warrior, back to warrior two, and cartwheel those hands down to either side of the foot. Stepping that right foot back to meet the left. Shifting forward, come into low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Two big toes touch. Left leg goes up. Step the foot through to the hands. Rotate that back heel down. Arms up, warrior one. Same poses, different side. We're going to stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, open up into warrior two. Right hand towards the back of the room. Gaze is over those left fingertips. Keeping the bend in that front knee. We're going to flip the palms towards the ceiling. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, back to warrior two. Shifting forward, coming into a side angle. That left elbow on that left leg. Right fingertips go towards the ceiling as we look up and twist. Maybe bringing those left fingertips down towards the mat, opening up those arms. And lower body is going to stay exactly where it is. We're going to come back up into warrior two, flipping the palms towards the sky, reverse warrior. Back to warrior two. And staying here, we're going to straighten that left leg. Shifting forward with the upper body. Left hand comes down towards the mat. Right hand goes up towards the sky as we look up and twist. Just staying with our breath. Core is engaged. Stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, put a bend in that left knee, coming back into warrior two. Reverse warrior. Back to warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down to either side of the foot. Stepping back, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to stay here for a few breaths, so feel free to walk your dog, maybe bending that left knee, right knee. And allowing both feet to become flat, we're going to inhale, bend the knees, look at the thumbs, exhale, walk your feet to the top of your mat. And staying in a forward fold, we're going to walk the feet about hip distance apart. Lifting those toes, see if you can slide your hands underneath the feet, palms facing up. Maybe your toes can touch your wrists. If so, maybe wiggling your toes, giving yourself a little massage. We're going to inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bending the elbows, bringing your chest towards your thighs, bending those knees if you need to or like. Go ahead and release the hands to the mat. We're going to walk our feet to the outer edges of the mat where just the heels are left. Toes are pointing out to maybe 10 and 2. Hands come to heart center and slowly just start to squat down. Those knees can stay on the end, or the elbows can stay on the inside of the knees, pushing those knees out and closing the eyes down. We're going to stay here for about 10 breaths. So just connecting to your breath, keeping the breath fluid, not forced. And just being in this present moment. Slowly start to flicker the eyes open. Bring your hands down to the mat, straightening the legs. Heel toe those feet closer together. We're going to bring our hands to our ankles and dragging your fingers up the front of your legs. Just slowly start to lift up one vertebrae at a time. Head, neck, and shoulders, the last things to come up. And once you're up, we're going to do a few shoulder shrugs up and back. And switching directions, up and forward. And finding stillness, we're going to come into dancer's pose. So left hand goes towards the ceiling. We're going to lift that right leg, bending the knee. Seeing if your hand can grab any part of that foot, ankle, or maybe your yoga pants. Keeping the core engaged, we're going to slowly start to kick that right foot into the hand as we lean forward, reaching out with those fingertips. Maybe your gaze is a foot and a half away from the front of your mat, finding a place of stillness. Staying for an inhale, and as you exhale, slowly coming back up to center, releasing that foot, left arm comes down. We're going to switch sides. Right hand goes towards the ceiling, bending that left knee, grabbing for any part of that foot or ankle, and slowly starting to kick that left foot into your hand. We're going to hinge forward at the hips. Right fingertips go towards the front of the room. Staying with the breath. Stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, slowly coming back to center, releasing the foot, arm down at your side. So bringing the arms up overhead and hands coming down to heart center. We're going to come into tree pose, right side, so that right foot can come into the inner ankle, calf, thigh, or half lotus. Just making sure to not press on that knee. Hands stay at heart center. Belly is engaged, shoulders are relaxed. Finding a spot to look at, maybe at the wall in front of you. If you're outside, maybe at a tree, just something that's not moving, something that can ground you in this pose. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, go ahead and release. Switching sides. Left foot comes to the inside of that ankle, calf, thigh, or half lotus. Hands remain at heart center. Just staying with the breath. Focusing on those inhales and exhales. feel imbalanced or like you're going to fall out of the pose, just taking a deep inhale and slowly exhaling. So go ahead and release. Maybe shaking it out. We're going to do this one more time on both sides. So inhale, bringing that foot up, maybe challenging yourself to take it a little higher this time. Hands come to heart center. We're going to interlace the fingers and inhale, pressing the hands towards the sky, palms towards the sky, bringing those arms back towards the ears, and start to walk your gaze a little farther up from where it was last time. Maybe that's where the wall meets the ceiling. And bring the hands back to heart center. We're going to bring that knee out in front of us. Inhaling and extend the foot out, flexing the toes. Exhale, bend the knee in. Inhale, point the toes out. Exhale, bend the knee in. And slowly starting to kick that right leg back into a balanced pose. Hands remaining at heart center. So those toes are flexed, going towards the earth. And slowly starting to release that left hand down towards the ground. We're going to come into half moon, bringing those right fingertips up towards the sky, opening that hip up towards the right hand side. Maybe your gaze is up towards those fingertips. Maybe it's down towards the ground. And if you want to challenge yourself today, slowly start to hover those fingertips off the mat. Core is engaged. Belly is so tight. And just staying with the breath. Keeping that right leg up, our right hand is going to come down towards the mat, squaring the hips. We're going to come into a single leg split. So hands come down to the mat, that right foot goes up towards the sky. Maybe bringing that right arm to wrap around that left leg. Chest is towards that left leg, knee towards the nose. And staying with the breath, slowly starting to release. Both hands to the mat. Right leg comes down to meet the left. Inhaling to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And we're going to step back to a high plank, high push-up position. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knees, walk the feet to the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, come all the way up, arms up. Coming into eagle pose, right side. Right arm is going to go underneath the left. So those hands are locked together. Biceps are off the chest, parallel with the earth. Right leg is going to come on top of that left knee. And those toes can stay on the mat like a kickstand, or maybe they can wrap around the ankle of that left leg and and slowly start to sit back. Maybe bringing those hips a little closer to the mat. Exhaling, releasing the leg to the mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward, hands through heart center. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're going to bend the knees and rise all the way up one more time. Bring the hands to heart center. We're going to go into tree pose on the left side. Left foot comes in the inner ankle, calf, thigh, or half lotus. Interlacing the fingers. Palms go up towards the sky. Maybe start to walk that gaze up a little higher. Maybe to where the wall meets the ceiling. Stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, hands come down to heart center. Bring that left knee in front this time. We're going to inhale, kick that left leg out. Toes are flexed. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, point the toes out. Exhale, bring it in. And slowly starting to kick that left leg back towards the back of the room or the back of the mat, coming into a balanced pose. Hands stay at heart center. Toes are flexed, going down towards the mat. Belly's engaged. And slowly start to lower those right fingertips down towards the mat. Left arm goes up towards the sky. Again, maybe those right fingers can hover off the mat. Maybe your gaze is towards those left fingertips. And slowly releasing, bringing that left leg towards the mat to meet the right. We're going to inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Stepping back, high to a low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knees, look at your hands, walk or float your feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, rise all the way up, arms up. And we're going to take eagle pose left side. So left arm underneath the right. Those arms are lifted up off the chest. If this is too much, you can also grab opposite shoulders or maybe hands at heart center. Bring that left leg over the right knee. Maybe those toes stay on the mat like a kickstand, or maybe they wrap around the ankle of that right leg, and just slowly sitting back, staying with the breath, finding your gaze long and calm. Go ahead and slowly release. Arms up. Hands through heart center. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And stepping back into downward dog. We're going to bring that right leg up into the air and bringing it to the outside of that left hand. We're going to come into lizard pose or runner's lunge. So that left ankle and foot can stay lifted. Those right toes maybe face 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock position, coming up on the knife edge of that right foot. And you can come down onto the forearms, maybe placing your head on a block, maybe bringing that left knee down to the mat. And just breathing into that right hip. Staying with the breath. Feeling the breath as it comes through the nose, all the way into the lungs. And just exhaling, feeling that air coming out of your nose. And coming up onto the hands, we're going to come into half pigeon, so walking that right foot to the outside of that left wrist. Bring the right knee down into an L shape or a triangle. Left leg is straight. Bringing the chest up high. Slowly starting to walk the hands out in front of you. And if this hurts, don't go into it. If you have taken half pigeon, maybe your forehead, forearms come down. And if you want to go into a modification, you're going to lie on your back, bending the knees. That right ankle is going to come on top of the left knee. Right arm goes through the leg, behind the back of that left leg, interlocking fingers with your left hand, maybe on the back of that hamstring. And if you want to take this deeper, maybe interlocking the fingers on the front of the shin. So once you've found where you're at, just allowing the body to melt into the ground. If you are in half pigeon, making sure that the weight in your hips is towards the left side, maybe towards the center, not dumping all our weight into that right side. You can also use a block underneath that right glute. If you're in half pigeon, maybe bringing those arms out to a T on either side of the mat. That right ear can come down towards the ground. So these are our hip openers. A lot of us store tension, stress, emotions in our hips. So when we're in these poses, opening up that space, that can feel kind of vulnerable. Sometimes emotions can come up, just knowing that that's okay, that's normal. We want to feel those emotions and just breathing into that space, having grace for ourselves. And slowly starting to walk the hands in, pushing yourself up, Curling those left toes under. We're going to kick that right leg back into a three-legged dog. Maybe making circles at the ankle, at the knee, at the hip, finding whatever feels good for you. And allowing both feet to become flat. Inhale, left leg goes up. Stepping that foot to the outside of the left wrist. Coming into a runner's lunge on this side. Maybe those left toes are at a 10, 11 o'clock position. Maybe you come up on the knife edge of that left foot on the pinky toe side. And slowly starting to come down onto the forearms. Maybe you drop the right knee. Untuck the toes. Just breathing into that space in the left hip. Noticing if maybe one side of your body feels a little tighter than the other. Slowly coming up onto the hands. We're going to come into half pigeon on this side. So walking that foot to the outside of the right wrist, making that triangle or that L shape, making sure that right leg is straight, sitting up tall to set the pose, and slowly starting to walk those hands out in front. Maybe your palms face towards the sky, signifying that you want to give and receive. Or maybe if you just need to receive today, placing those palms flat on the earth. Just showing some compassion to your body. Just breathing into that left hip space. Making sure that your weight is either in the center or slightly towards the right side. And if you took half pigeon, you can go ahead and open the arms out like a T on either side of the mat. Maybe that left ear comes down to the earth. Slowly starting to walk the hands back towards the center, underneath the shoulders, pushing up. We're going to curl those right toes under, kicking that left leg back into a three-legged dog. Making circles with the leg. Again, just finding what feels good for you. And allowing both feet to become flat on the earth. We're going to slowly start to walk the feet towards the hands. And once you get to the top of your mat, go ahead and take a comfortable seated position. Legs towards the top of the mat. Bringing the hands to heart center. We're going to slowly start to lie down, engaging our core consciously, one vertebrae at a time. once you're down, bring the arms overhead, pointing the toes, full body stretch. This should feel really good. And bring the hands back down towards the mat. We're going to bend our knees, bring our feet flat to the earth. Maybe those fingertips touch the ankles, just letting us know where our body's at. We're going to go into bridge pose. So stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, slowly start to lift the hips up into the air. Maybe interlacing those fingers behind the back, palms together. Walking those shoulders underneath you. Just staying here for a few breaths. Bringing the chin to the chest, coming up on the toes, slowly start to lower down, releasing those hands. And bringing the feet up towards the sky. We're going to go into our inversions. So you can take shoulder stand, headstand, handstand, whatever you're feeling for your practice today. If you're going into shoulder stand, start to lift those hips up off the ground, bring your hands to your lower back, pointing those toes towards the sky, knees touch. The only thing on the ground are those elbows to your shoulders, head, but no part of your neck should be touching the ground. Just finding stillness. If you took shoulder stand, maybe dropping those toes above the head, coming into plow. And if this hurts, don't force it. You can stay in shoulder stand. If you took plow, maybe interlacing those fingers, hands coming down towards the mat. If you took a headstand or a handstand, coming down into child's pose, and slowly, wherever you're at, coming down to the mat, back, legs, feet, keeping the knees bent. If you're in child's pose, slowly meeting us on your back. We're going to come into eagle legs on the left side. So left leg over that right knee. You can stay here, or maybe those left toes wrap around the right ankle. Arms come out to the side like a T. Legs are going to fall to the right hand side. Gaze is towards those left fingertips, pressing that left shoulder into the earth. Just feeling how good this feels all the way down your body. And slowly coming back to center. Releasing the legs. We're going to switch sides. Right leg goes over that left knee. Arms are out like a T. If you wrapped those toes around last time, maybe doing that on this side with those right toes around the left ankle. And the lower body is going to slowly start to fall to the left side of the mat. Gaze towards those right fingertips. Pressing the right shoulder firmly into the ground. Just staying here for a few moments. Slowly coming back to center, releasing the legs. We're going to hug our knees into our chest, maybe rocking slightly from side to side, massaging our spine. And slowly releasing the legs down to the mat, coming into our final pose. Hands come out to the side, legs wide, taking up as much space as you like here. Maybe the feet fall open onto either side. And just connecting to our breath. Feeling our belly rise and sink with each breath. Again, knowing that we are right where we're supposed to be. We are safe. We are loved. Start to relax the muscles in the forehead, the space in between the eyes. Bringing our tongue to the roof of our mouth. And releasing it. Releasing our jaw. And just finding stillness for these next few moments. Allowing your body to rest after everything you've done. Knowing you can stay here as long as you like. And if you're ready, slowly starting to bring awareness back to the body, wiggling the toes, moving the fingers around, moving the feet and the hands, maybe rotating the wrists. And gently hugging the knees into the chest, rolling over onto the right side. Maybe using your hands as pillows underneath your head. Just taking this last brief moment to connect with your body. And when you're ready, slowly using that top left hand to push yourself up. Eyes remain closed. Coming into a comfortable seated position. Hands come to heart center. Chin towards the chest. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you on this practice today. It was an honor and privilege. And in yoga, we end our practice with saying together, the light and good in me honors and sees the light and good in you, with the Sanskrit word, namaste.